This crispy chicken is from a taco place.
This crispy chicken is from a taco place? The taco place? Taco place. It comes in a burrito, too?
From your taco place, it's also a chicken place that's also a taco place.
Check out the all-new Blue and Orange store at the Boise State Hall of Fame. The Blue and Orange store has your best game day gear. We're talking jerseys, hats, bumper stickers, car flags, more than 4,000 hats on the hat wall. If you want the best Boise State gear, make sure you check out the Blue and Orange store online at theblueandorangestore.com or the all-new Blue and Orange store down at the Boise State Allen Noble Hall of Fame.
It's the fall kickoff sale at Lithia Ford of Boise. It's the best time to trade in and trade up to a new Ford truck or SUV with the room to haul your payload or playload. Visit Lithia Ford of Boise, where Ford begins in Idaho.
Bronco fans, the new Boise State trading cards are here, and you can only get them at Jackson's.
Start collecting them today.
Jackson's, let's go!
And final blade of grass. Done. And done. Who knew it'd take 2,007 man-hours to paint 47,962,053 blades of grass? Smells like game day. Whoa, it's not dry yet.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live is the only daily show that talks nothing but Boise State sports. And we do it with you. Give us your comments or questions in the ICCU YouTube chat. Or leave us a voicemail on the Signature Roofing voice inbox at speakpipe.com/BNN. BNN Live is presented by our title sponsor, RoadPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics, and our major sponsors, Jackson's, Taco Bell, Idaho Central Credit Union, Lithia Ford of Boise, and the Blue and Orange store. For more coverage of Boise State athletics, check out the all-new BroncoNationNews.com, now part of the 247 Sports family. Now, here's five-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Well, post-game, Maddox Madsen stopping to sign some autographs. The Broncos shaking hands with fans there at Falcon Stadium at the Air Force Academy as the Boise State football team goes on the road and picks up a big-time win at Air Force, 49-37 to start conference play. The Broncos get the road win. They get the conference win. Now they're going to dip back into non-conference play for the next 2 weeks, but they got that first road win under their belt, and no more scheduled trips to Air Force, which I'm sure the coaching staff is very sad about. Brad Bedell as the triple option. Don't have to worry about it for a while for the Boise State football team, as they are 1-0 in conference and moving on to App State this week here at Albertson Stadium. My name is BJ Rains. This is Bronco Nation News Live for a Monday edition. We're back in Boise after being at the Air Force Academy over the weekend. Had a great trip. Appreciate the hospitality and everybody there in the sports information department. always a fun time going to the Air Force Academy, and it was fun for Boise State as they get the win and they celebrate with fans at Falcon Stadium. Again, BJ Rains with you. Brad Bedell, former NFL offensive lineman, Boise State, Auburn, coached a number of places as well, and always appreciate on a Monday getting to start our week off with Brad and get his analysis and thoughts on the game. And Brad, Air Force, never an easy game, regardless of the records, whatever else. It's just one of those games you got to just get through. And was looking dicey a little bit there, tied third quarter, but Boise State pulls it out, wins by 12, and gets a nice road conference win. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Yeah, it's anytime you can go into Air Force and beat them is really good. I mean, Boise hasn't been the best at Air Force in the past, but when you have an explosive offense like they showed on Saturday, you're going to be in it. Now, Boise going to put up 40 points a game? Well, maybe. We can get into the defense here in a little bit, but I think it was a great win, actually. I really do. I think it was I think especially to start that game, a lot of quiet people when I was sitting there when Madsen went down, and then all of a sudden the backup comes in and starts just slinging it, drives it down. So there were some things that I saw, just how some guys had to step up and play is really what I came out of that offensively. Defensively, you shouldn't give up 200 yards passing to an Air Force offense.
Yeah, most passing yards allowed by Air Force in 6 years. We'll get into the offense, the good. Obviously, Dylan Riley, 5 touchdowns. Some of the other nice things we saw offensively. The bad, certainly the defense. There's some issues there to correct in the secondary in terms of the passing attack. And I'm sure App State's kind of licking their chops a little bit, in terms of passing the ball with some of the continued problems in the secondary. We'll get into all of that and more here on a Monday morning edition of Bronco Nation News. Our title sponsor is rowpaint.com. Andy Rowe and Company. Appreciate him for his support of Bronco Nation News, continued support. He might even be jumping on the show today, Brad, towards the end of the show. Andy's our loyal title sponsor, and talked about maybe having him come on for a few minutes on Mondays. So we'll see if the timing works out today. But sometimes he brings PowerPoints, like he knows ball, man, and he comes loaded for bear with his points. And I know he's not I remember him last year coming on talking about the problems in the secondary. So I'm sure he's going to be feeling have some things to say, even as a booster of the school and supporter about the secondary and some of the problems that they've had. So we'll see if we can connect with Andy later in the show. But Brad, I am wearing my Circa Survivor hat. Both our teams are moving on. You should have changed your name to making it to at least week 5 or whatever it is, because here we are, week 4, I guess.
Going
week 4, week 3. We're in
week 4. We're going
to week 4. All right, Brad Bedell, Kent Riddle, his crew at the Circa Survivor contest, and his quest for $18 million. You had the Seattle Seahawks. I also had the Seattle Seahawks in both of my remaining entries that I'm a part of with Travis Hawks and another buddy. And so we're on to week 4. We had some carnage finally a little bit, Brad. We almost had more. We almost had, if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers hadn't come back and had that late field goal there after the blocked field goal. And, man, that was crazy. That stretch where there was about 3 blocked field goals, 2 for touchdowns, literally within seconds of each other, that changed the games. That was a crazy afternoon session, but we still lost a couple thousand, I think 20% of the pool or so. They started with 18,300. We're now finally down to 13,000 something, so we're starting to knock some people out. And Brad Bedell, I know you don't need the 18 million, but you're still alive for it here.
Everybody needs 18 million. I don't give a crap. Hell yeah, I need 18. Well, maybe 18. I got to split it up. But yeah, no, I want to win.
I know we're not sweating it out yet, but still a little more fun than last year being knocked out in week 1.
Oh, there's no doubt. And then I'm looking at this next week, and I'm like, oh my God, there isn't that one like surefire like New Orleans going into Seattle to beat them. You don't have that in week 4.
I got my little NFL schedule here. I was looking at, if you want to be risky, the Houston Texans, they're 0-3, but they're favored by 6.5 over the Titans. That's one where you could use the Texans and get rid of them. There's a couple other teams that are big favorites you'd like to maybe save. I think Buffalo Bills could be an option this week. Who was the other team I was looking at? There's another team that's a decent-sized favorite. I forget where I'm looking at now, but
who's Jacksonville plays somebody that I saw that game. Who do they play?
I don't remember.
They play Monday night.
Yeah. Well, either way, congrats. You're moving on. We're moving on. And I always say it, but if I win the grand prize, we'll comp like, anybody in history who wants a subscription for a year. We'll give you 1,000 people or something free subscriptions. Or let's just throw the biggest BNN party ever, and we'll have free food and drinks, and any subscriber can come hang out, and we'll have a huge party. So I bet you Circo would even probably help pay for it. So
you'll know if I win. If you get on the show and there's a sign that just says "suck it," I
quit. No. Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Well, I'm hoping you do. I hope one of us do. That'd be fun. So, again, thanks to Circa Sports, one of our great sponsors. Saw some videos over the weekend down at Circa watching football. If you're looking for a spot to watch football, I'm trying to make my trip work down there, Brad, for the game in Reno to maybe it's a Friday night game in Reno, and maybe have a long layover on that Saturday or something to stop off at Circa and watch some college football on that Saturday. So, anytime you get a chance to head down to Circa down there in Las Vegas, make sure you do. And best spot for sports, great spot. And we appreciate Derek Stevens and the whole crew down there at Circa. So with that said, Brad, let's go with the positives first. It's Monday morning. We're in a good mood. Let's start with the offense and the positives, and then we'll get to the defense. But Dylan Riley, 5 touchdowns. I believe he's the first. If they said the only player, and I don't know if they meant in history or on this roster or what, but Boise State put out a graphic. He's the only player with 4 rushing touchdowns and a receiving touchdown. That sounds kind of, all the running backs, all the players they've had, I find it hard to believe he'd be the first one ever to have 4 rushing and 1 receiving, but maybe he is. We'll find. I'll try to look into that today. But 5 touchdowns. The 75-yard receiving touchdown. Last week, he had the 77-yard rushing touchdown against Eastern Washington. We've seen him with the 94-yard kick return touchdown last year. He's obviously got the speed and for the big play ability. But he had some nice, really nice game and took advantage of Sire Gaines being banged up and was limited, and he took advantage of his extra snaps. And I thought of all the touchdowns, even that 5th one may have been the most important there. You're only up 5. You need to get another first down, run the clock out, and he there around the 2-minute warning breaks free for the 40-yard gain. I thought that was a massive one to put them back up by 2 scores. But what can you say, the sophomore Dylan Riley, the game of his life?
Well, we talked about how can you not root for him, right? That's the one thing about what I love what he did is that door opens and closes in a big hurry, and he took advantage of his opportunity and goes for 19 for 172. He averaged 9 yards a carry, and not to mention they heated up a little bit. His pass protection was very good.
He leads the nation, by the way. By the way, in yards per carry for anyone over 30 attempts, some of these guys have like 12 attempts, but if you go over 30 attempts for the season, 9.81 yards per carry on the season, he leads the nation.
Right. So he was dominant. He deserves all the success, and he took advantage of his opportunity. And so now it's just you got to think if Syracuse get banged up, which we knew that position was the strength of the team offensively going into the season, right? So we finally got to see a little bit of what this offense wants to be, and everything's going to have to start with the run game. It's just the way it is because it opened up a lot. If you look at receiving, Capel's had a day, right?
Good to see. Good to see he had gotten off to a slow start this year.
Yeah, he had 5 for 87 yards. His longest was 31. We talked about Riley. His longest was 75. Malik had a long receiving at 24. Wagner, in Louder got involved. So everything kind of came together. Now you don't want to see the one turnover, but didn't kill you. Now, I think we're also –
that was not a great turnover, though. Right before halftime, you got to at least get a field goal there. You're up 7. You got a chance to go up 2 scores. I don't know what happened on that play. I guess, Zach Hill and I didn't see the clip, but somebody said Zach Hill and Madsen were either a little animated or Madsen was animated at Hill on the sidelines. I don't know what happened there, if who messed up the play. Receiver went the wrong way. I don't know. But, yeah, that was one negative for the offense. I know they had a great 300 yards in the first half. Hard to find a lot to complain about. But when you're down there in the red zone or down there close to it at the end of the half, you got to at least get 3.
Right. I would agree with you 100% on that. And then, Chris, Marshall 1 for 13. But I think you're going to see that a little bit this year is I think when that guy steps on the field, people, they're going to make sure he doesn't take a game over. So somebody else has to step up. In this game, it was Caples, which was great to see. Great to see.
Well,
and then the other thing is what I was really impressed with was third downs. I mean, they were 7 of 10 on third down. That's really good. 7 of 10 on third down. The backup quarterback drives them in for a touchdown. So now it's everybody. Maybe they know what they're doing. They couldn't exactly. A lot of people are really upset that Boise could not go get a quarterback to compete in recruiting. Well, I hate to tell you this, that in the nature of NIL and kids wanting to play now, who was going to come to Boise State after the quarterback leads them to the playoff? Nobody that's worth that you want on the roster. He's not going to be that much better. Kids don't operate that way.
And if a kid's willing to come just for money or whatever to sit, then you don't want him anyway. If he's, there's a lot of layers to what you just said there. But I thought Max Cutforth, and then what's that do for him too? I mean, now he got a taste and he had a couple throws. I thought his first throw when he came in and it was third down, it was kind of crazy. That was a terrible throw. It was wobbly and it bounced. But when he came back on the next drive, and they needed that because Air Force came right down the field and scored. You're down 7-0. You got your backup quarterback in the game. If you don't score there and Air Force goes up 14-0, like that could have been a whole different game there. And he leads a touchdown drive, had a couple third down completions. I mean, if you're looking for like unsung hero of the game or like the quiet MVP that nobody's talking about, like Max Cutforth leading that drive and a couple of those throws, one of them on third down, I believe, to get that drive. I think it was 3 for 3 on that drive or 4 for 4 on that drive to get them down there and score and tie the game as Madsen's trying to figure out if he can come back in the game. I thought that was a massive turning point in the game.
Yeah, well, that third down was his only incompletion, but it's also that's where a lot of teams when they come in, the backup quarterback's got to come in. You do that in that situation, you kind of just hand the ball off. You can't hand the ball off. You get it. You punt the ball away, get the backup quarterback over there, and let's talk about something. That is a hard thing to do, to come in on third down to complete it. Yeah, the throw wasn't great, but he comes down. Now he gets a full series of everything, and he looked impressive. He looked good. And so I think that was a huge highlight.
What's that do for him, too? He got a couple of completions. He got a little taste. And now when he's in practice and he's in the film room knowing, like, yeah, you are really one play away. You got to be ready. But also, like, yeah, and I had a little bit of success doing that, too.
Right. Well, it goes to show he's one play away. I mean, everybody's one play away. And especially the great backup quarterbacks, they prepare like they're going to start the game. That you have to. Or you're going to get in that situation and – not play well, and now all the hoopla is we got nobody, right? It's like with Riley Dillon. He's got the opportunity to start the game and took off, right? So he got that opportunity and he ran with it.
Yeah, we do have some sound bites from Dylan Riley that we can play here in a minute. But there's a question from Brad. Brad J. How do you handle sharing the ball when Gaines is back healthy? Good problem to have, but still a problem. Sire Gaines was supposed to be your number one, next NFL running back, supposed to be your guy that's, your bell cow type guy, or at least get more than the other guys, was the clear number one running back. I don't think anything changed on that through 2 weeks, but then he's a little banged up, we find out. Wasn't on the injury report because they weren't worried about him not playing. They just thought he would be a little limited in the game. I think people, by the way, that's a misnomer. It's not an injury report. It's a availability report. And so Boise State wasn't skeeting any rules by not putting him on the report. They knew he was going to play. He just, you don't have to disclose every injury of every player on the team. Just if they might not play, if they're questionable, you have to put him on there, but he wasn't questionable. They knew he'd play. They just knew he'd be a little limited. And so going into that game, Dylan Riley knew he would get more action, but now, 19 carries, 171 yards. We've seen the speed. Like, it's one thing to do it against Eastern Washington, Brad, and we talked about that. Like, how do those carries translate? But you do it in a conference game at Air Force. Like, how do you figure out moving forward here? I know Sire Gaines is obviously going to be a very important piece of this puzzle, and maybe Dylan Riley's never getting 19 carries again this season. But how do you? Dylan Riley deserves some action here, but so do the other guys. Mishrod did some nice things too. I'm not going to say problem, but it is a little. How do they figure this out here? What do you do at the running back position?
Well, I think number one is you got to bring them all into the room and talk about the situation. Like, okay, this is what we're going to do. We're going to start X, right? Everybody's going to get the carries. I'm going to go with the hot hand. Meaning, hey, if all of a sudden Sire comes out and he just starts ripping runs and he's averaging 7-8 yards a carry, you keep him in there, right? And then if you need to spell, we're going to go. Okay, next drive. All of a sudden, if Riley starts ripping off runs, hey, we're going to keep with him a little while. Now, if the run game goes stagnant, go, hey, new back. Let's go. Get somebody else in there. Get somebody else in there. And you got kind of, everybody likes to say that lightning, thunder, or whatever it is, but just with, they've got Malik, he's very shifty. He's a jump back, right? Things like that. They got power backs. They got flat out speed. So I think they're in a good spot getting, like, having people have multiple carries, but I always feel you have to go with a hot hand at running back. And if you don't go with a hot hand and they're going every other play, you can't get in a rhythm and things like that. And as long as running backs have to see the game, right? You just can't go and run through a hole. You got to see the game. And as the game goes on, they get better and better. So I think everybody gets the carries, but I bet you they go with a hot hand.
Marco says also a matter of letting the running back heat up. Too much switching running backs every play. They didn't do that as much in this game just because Gaines was limited. We mostly saw Gaines on third down. He did get 3 carries for, I think, 34 yards. I mean, he averaged over 10 yards a carry on his 3 carries. So even in limited action, Gaines came in and was in there a little bit. Blake says, crazy that Gaines and Riley are freshmen and sophomore, technically came in the same class, to have Gaines and Riley as your 2 running backs you brought in, 2 years ago. Let's see. What problem are we trying to solve? Too many good running backs. Go with the hot hand, rotate as needed, or have an advantage over the opposing. Multiple backs isn't a problem. Somebody was asking about getting them on the field at the same time, or I don't know if they try to start scheming that kind of stuff up. Blake says, can you get 2 on the field at the same time? Do you know how many pass attempts, without looking at the stats, Maddox Matson had in the second half, Brad?
2.
2 pass attempts. Boise State attempted 2 passes in the second half. One of them was that 75-yard screen play. I mean, we need to talk about Nate Potter a little bit as well. I know some folks were wanting to rip. I even heard on the halftime show, saw some comments, people ripping on him. I mean, they had 300. And again, that was not good at the end of the half, but I don't know what happened, whose fault that was. The turnover was not good, but over 300 yards of offense in the first half. You finish with, I think, almost 600 yards of offense for the second straight game. Against Eastern Washington, Brad, they had 300 passing, 300 rushing. They almost did it again on Saturday. They had 300 and 284, I think, in terms of back-to-back. And then Boise State now comes in at number 11 in the country in total offense right now in terms of yards per game. I thought that the screen pass was a great call at that point in the game. I thought Nate Potter, after some of the criticism he got at South Florida, has rebounded and had 2 pretty nice games here.
Oh, I think he called a great game. And I also think that's a change-up, bringing in Potter as the play caller, is Potter's committed to the screen game, where, Dirk, even back, says we're not very good at screen games, so why am I going to throw it? Right? So he's committed to the screen game. And when you have explosive backs that can catch the ball really well out of the backfield, can I answer your questions? Can you get 2 running backs? Yes, you can. Absolutely. You got to find the guy with the best hands that understands route running, motion, the running back out of the backfield. If you got 2 of them to find a mismatch, absolutely you can. That's a great way of getting 2 running backs on the field at the same time. But I thought Potter called a great game. He understands the strength of this team, and they turned it into a 9-on-7 and beat them up physically. Which Air Force is a physical football team. It's an impressive thing that they did offensively.
Sky's saying if there's ever going to be a statue for Cage Casey, it should be him doing a pancake block. That one block, I believe, on the screen pass where he was 20 yards downfield and just absolutely mauled the guy. He had a couple other nice ones as well. There was somebody else commenting about Louder and Wagner both having some great blocks at the tight end position in this game as well. But there were some impressive blocks that sometimes just, watching it live, you don't see. That one that Cage Casey had in space, you saw it developing because the way the play was working. And he's 15, 20 yards downfield, whatever it was. And just,
he cleared him.
You knew that was the last guy he had to get by, and he's probably going to score. And you're like, just don't hold him. Just don't hold him. And he's like, nope, I'll just shove him straight down. That was, as an offensive line coach, Cage Casey, and I was going to say quietly, but not really quietly. The stats are backing it up. I mean, he's having the kind of season he needed to start to have to solidify himself probably as a first-round pick in this draft. I mean, he's not there yet. There's a lot of season left, but he's off to a really nice start. A lot of the Pro Football Focus numbers, he's among the top tackles in the country here already, and hasn't given up a sack again. I don't think has a penalty again yet this season. I mean, there was penalties across the board in that game on the offensive line. False starts, holdings. I think every other lineman may have got a penalty. I don't think Cage Casey did. but he's having an impressive start to the season here, and that's emphasized by a couple of the blocks in that game against Air Force.
No doubt. No, he's played really well. He's played really well. He's played really well, and it's what you thought he was going to be. He deserves the national recognition. He's a good football player.
And our opposing teams, is it like, hey, we're just not even going to try to go to that side with our pass rush, or do they try to double him, or what are you seeing in terms of what he's going up against?
They can. What they'll do is they'll take, especially on third down, they'll take their top pass rusher and put him inside or put him on the right tackle and just say, you know what? We're not going to do it. They did. I know a couple people did that with Ezra. When I was talking to Huff, a lot of people did that with Ryan Clady and said, we're just not going to bother. Right? We like this matchup better than that matchup. So there's no reason to go waste your top pass rusher. You can do multiple things with them. But if I was a defensive coordinator, I would definitely put my top pass rusher on third down on the opposite side. Just, nothing like he's playing bad. It's just Cage is dominant. And so why would a defense play with 10 when Casey's so dominant and just erasing that defensive end?
Yeah, try to find a matchup somewhere else.
Exactly.
Skyship wondering if he's already good enough to be better than some of the guys on the Raiders offensive line.
I didn't watch that Raiders game. Apparently it was pretty bad.
I mean, is that what is the transition from tackle from college to the pro? And everyone says high school to college is really tough, and you see very few linemen that are physically ready coming out of high school, like to start or play a lot. I mean, it's getting a little different now, but that's one of the harder spots on the team, right? Is offensive line to probably come in as a true freshman and play just because of the size and what's needed.
Correct.
But in terms of the jump to the NFL, and I'm not, like I said, I haven't studied the game tape of the Raiders, but is it easier for an offensive lineman like of Cage Casey, like next year in the draft or whatever, to have a chance as a rookie to go in there and play right away?
Sure. I think a lot of guys, they're ready. Even if it's not the first, like Olt, he's a starting left tackle for LA. He was an unbelievable offensive lineman at Notre Dame. I believe college started as a rookie. Ezra started as a rookie.
Did you start as a rookie?
No, started as a second year.
Okay. Is it harder for interior guys?
Easier.
Okay.
Easier for interior guys to start because you are not now you're dealing with bigger human beings, but the speed of the Myles Garretts, the Micah Parsons, the speed and the power of defensive ends and the length, it is really tough to start as a rookie. Like the Giants last night, when their stud left tackle was taken out of the game because he's coming from a Linz Frank, they put in that their 5th round pick out of Boston College, and that poor kid was just getting eaten up alive. It's hard to play that tackle position as a rookie. You got to be pretty special.
All right, Brad, I want to switch and talk some negatives here in a minute. You got the penalties, obviously. You got some of the defensive issues. Anything else positive on the positive side? Ty Benefield, we're going to talk about the secondary struggling, but Ty Benefield, who, by the way, Ty Benefield and Zion Washington are going to be the 2 special guests for the Riley and Ridge show tomorrow at the James. So if you want to come over to the James tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, you can meet Ty Benefield and Zion Washington. They will both be the live special guests at the James tomorrow night for Riley and Rid, presented by Jackson's at 8 o'clock tomorrow out on the patio. But Ty Benefield and Chris Van Sickle wrote about him. It's up at Bronco Nation News right now. For all the struggles of the secondary, which we'll get to in a minute, Ty Benefield, 11 tackles, I believe 2 tackles for loss, had that interception, and I know they're kind of already up, at that point, 2 scores, but has the interception late in the game and a couple of his hits too. I mean, he had one that he just bone crushing. He had a heck of a game and he's having a heck of a season so far.
I would agree. He's the bright spot back there. And he's the leader. He's the captain back there. He is the lone bright spot back there at safety. He does a great job. It's fun to watch him play. Like if the camera first of all, that CBS whatever network, their television camera.
I heard they struggled a little bit last night or Saturday.
It was horrible. I mean, for crying out loud, I think they put it. I don't know. We were watching the goalpost at one point, and the game was going on. Doesn't matter. But this would be a good one to watch.
So I look forward to seeing that.
Yeah, if you're watching, this game's on Fox Sports 1, right? App State is?
Yes.
So better TV. So now when you're watching Ty play back there, and before when the formations come up, he is directing traffic. I mean, it's fun to watch. That he's got football smarts. He's a leader back there, and his play is showing it. That he's the bright spot on defense. He tackles well. I thought for the most part they tackled better. I thought a couple of the options that we knew were going to break a time or two, but they played with great eyes. It's just explosive plays.
We'll get to the explosive plays in a minute here. Were there any other positives you wanted to highlight? I mean, we hit on Dylan Riley. We obviously hit on Nate Potter. Maddox Madsen came in, and maybe he didn't have the completion percentage that you would, or the total number. But as we said, didn't really need it in the second half.
No.
He came back though. We'll have to monitor that injury. I don't know if it was knee or Achilles or what it was, Brad. But he obviously went out, needed help getting off the field. It did not look good. And then about 10 minutes later, he comes jogging back on and got his helmet on and convinced him to put him back on the game. But obviously, I don't know if they shot him up or if that was adrenaline or what. But I mean, is there any concern this week once all that wears off that his availability could be in question? Or
no, they'll manage it. He'll be fine. I see no intention of him not playing. I don't.
Even against App State, when you have Notre Dame next week, there's no chance if he is not 100% to let him rest up this week?
No, because you remember they need to win out. 2 losses in a conference title is going to get you in the discussion of the playoff. But a conference title and 1 loss, you're in the thick of it. You need Memphis to lose or something like that. So you can't, unless they're so worried structurally that if he plays, he's in trouble, which I have no idea.
Yeah.
But you can't just say because App State's coming down, because the end goal is they want to go to the playoff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I get you that the backup, he played well. I talked about he played well, but there's a difference doing a whole game rather than one series.
All right. So I think we hit on all the positives. Did you have any other positives? Just you got the win out of the way. It was a conference opener, and now I guess another positive is you don't have Air Force on the schedule anytime soon.
That is always a positive. I don't know. Right. They'll play again, hopefully.
There were some negatives, though. We got to get into the penalties and some of the defensive issues here. Rowpaint.com is our title sponsor. And again, I'm going to try to get Andy Rowe on here to join the show. But let's see. He's at an airport hotel. He says he should be good to jump on. All right, I'll send it to him here in just a minute. But, hey, interior, exterior paintings, all that good stuff, the concrete coatings. Make sure you hit up Andy Rowe, rowpaint.com. Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. We appreciate Idaho Central Credit Union for their support of Bronco Nation News. You see the NIL deals they have going on, the interior, exterior, all the great stuff. All of our sponsors do so much for BNN and so much for the community. And you see that they're now having their logo, interior, exterior at the stadium. You can find all of the ICCU logos around Albertson Stadium, in Albertson Stadium. And so to see them back on board as a sponsor is really cool. And we appreciate them. Make the switch today, ICCU.com. Hey, Taco Bell, I think Thursday we may get out and do a broadcast at Taco Bell. So, Brad, if you want a free breakfast and want to double up, maybe swing by on Thursday. It won't be too far from your house. SON Management Group, the Nicolason family, TacoBellWorks.com is their website. And Thursday morning, we might be in the parking lot out there at the Broadway location. So we'll let you know, make plans maybe to stop by and say hello. Taco Bell. TacoBellWorks.com. You can get those trading cards, $12.99. Latrell Caples is getting closer to that touchdown. Now, we didn't have Breezy play again. Caples had a good game, so we'll get him in the end zone here soon, and you can take advantage of his 49-cent deal. But we do have those trading cards, and those are $12.99. They have the 99-cent coffee anytime, day or night. But as I said, tomorrow night, 8 p.m., you can meet on the Jackson's Presents, the Riley and Ridge Show. You can meet Ty Benefield and Zion Washington tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. Hey, the Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com. Whether it's, those jerseys, they got the 208 stuff this week. They're going to be wearing that new logo, the front porch of Idaho. Hey, that'll be this Saturday for that game, and they're selling those shirts there at the Hall of Fame location, the Blue and Orange Store, theblueandorangestore.com at the Boise State Hall of Fame, or the other location there at the mall. Make sure you check that out. And I think Friday we'll be back for another show at Lithia Ford of Boise. We'll see what vehicle they put us in to drive around this time in advance of the home game on Saturday. Lithia Ford of Boise. Never a better time to buy a new or a pre-owned Ford vehicle. Lithia Ford of Boise. We appreciate them for their support. And get on out to their location there on Fairview Avenue in Boise. And you can view their full inventory of vehicles online at lithiafordboise.com. BNN.com. All right, Brad, the penalties, 12 penalties, I believe, 11 in the first half. Now, there were some questionable, I thought a couple of the roughing the passer penalties. There was a Roger Carry-on, like 15 yards downfield, was blocking the guy, and they called him for unnecessary roughness. I don't know. Some of those are kind of subjective, but back-to-back plays, they had false starts at one point, couldn't even snap the ball. There was some holding penalties. Overall, 11 penalties in the first half. The penalties have not really been a big problem this season for them. So it's kind of an anomaly of a half. I don't know if that's just the way the refs were, a little tighter crew or what, but are you concerned, big picture, about the penalty problem?
No, I wouldn't say concerned. There's going to be a couple of holdings. That's going to happen. The unsportsmanlike conduct on Rodgers is a joke. We're just taking the physical.
I knew you wouldn't like that. That.
Come on. It's not like he kicked the kid. Come on. So we're playing football. It's not like he was driving him and the whistle was blowing hard. I mean, come on. That one's a joke. The roughing the passer, it's like the roughing the passer is are going to come by officials. They're different officials who are doing, like, at least the National Football League has the rule. 1-step quarterback hit. It's not 2-step quarterback hit. It's roughing. There's no consistency. It's going by crew to crew. A holding call with the edge pressures and for the offensive line, getting on some edges, things like that, that'll get cleaned up as they see more movement. But that was a cause of a couple of holdings. The false starts, that's the one thing, right? So at South Florida, they had some false starts. Obviously, home they didn't. Then they go back on the road, some false starts. So that's one thing that is going to have to be worked out, especially you're home and then you go to Notre Dame.
Yeah. And only one penalty in the second half was much better. But, I mean, is that just sometimes crews just called a little tighter than others and you can figure that out early on in the game?
Yeah, there's been always an umpire or somebody's going to call holding within the first 5 plays just to make sure that, oh, hey, I'm here. I'm really going to watch this game. You're a joke. Just stop it. The whole guys, there's going to be holdings. They can call holding on every play.
Yeah.
It's just, why do they? And some of the holdings were like not even existent, and it's a slight tug, right? That's not. He didn't impede him so badly that he can't get off the block. He just tugged him holding. I mean,
every big play Boise State had in that game, I felt myself looking back to make sure there were no flags.
Exactly. Every play. You're like, oh, here you go. If there's it's like a kickoff return. Every time you see a big kickoff return, there's always a holding. Like, no, there's no chance that this would ever happen in college football to get a kickoff return. So somebody just drop a flag and let's go holding on it.
Well, as I said, our title sponsor, Andy Rowe Painting. We waited, Andy, to have the discussion on the secondary till you came on, because I know you're a big fan of the secondary and the coaching staff there. But our title sponsor, you're in an airport or in a hotel somewhere traveling, always working, but we appreciate you jumping on. Andy Rowe and rowepaint.com. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on. Good to hear Mr. Bedell with his very intellectual take. My take's the dummy fan take, so I always like to hear Brad with the actual what's going on.
What's the dummy fan take on the penalties?
Well, I we'll probably all agree on those. I'm sure there's more going on there than we see, but they just can't happen, obviously. And it was like a circus at the end of the first half there.
Yeah, there was one series where they had a false start, ran a play and got called for holding. It was like 20 yards in a span, like with one actual snap happening. I mean, that
right.
that
definitely can't happen.
Maybe Brad already said this. I was on a little bit of a delay listening to the show, but so is that just that they haven't gelled yet? Because you can see, I mean, we're talking about all these great things about the offensive line and everything, but when you see all of that happen at once, what is that? Is it coaching? Is it execution? Is it a lack of chemistry?
No, it's not. No, because these kids have been playing together. It's really sometimes if you see it a lot, if a lot of defensive lines haven't had a lot of movement yet, and you get caught on edges. And when you get caught on edges, you get real grabby. And so that's one of it. The other one is sometimes you just come off the ball and your hands are too wide. It's not coaching. It's like, trust me, no, Tim isn't teaching the whole. Everybody teaches the hold. I mean, you got to hold to the breastplate, right? But some of it, it's just an umpire who really, how many times have you seen this? The umpire just takes a peek over here and sees a flash. All of a sudden there's a flag. It's just, they're trying, but it's not holding. It's not a continuity. It's not coaching. It's like handling movement can really cover people up when they're trying to cross face rather than just grabbing them and yanking them.
Ropaint.com.
It could be a footwork thing that'll help in the future. I guarantee the footwork will get much better in the future.
No doubt. Andy Rowe, ropaint.com, whether it's those concrete coatings, interior, exterior painting, all your painting needs, folks, you need to be hitting up Andy Rowe and ropaint.com because there would be no BNN, as I say every time he comes on or every day, without Andy and his crew. So let's keep his crews busy here over the fall and winter months. If you got a painting project that you've just been staring at, now's the time. Get it done. They got some great, let them know you heard about it on BNN, and I'm sure they'll give you the best available discount out there. But, Andy, I don't know if you came prepared with your PowerPoints and things like you did at times last year, but the secondary giving up, 242 passing yards. That's the most passing yards allowed against, that Air Force has had in 6 years. 500 yards, I believe, allowed defensively. We talked about how good Ty Benefield did, but otherwise some more struggles. What's the dummy fan take on the secondary and where they're at right now and the defense?
Well, I say the dummy fan take because I thought Nate Carroll did a really good job. He had a post on Twitter a few weeks back, and he showed, I think it was Irby or McCoy getting burned. And he said, hey, this isn't necessarily his fault. And as he kind of drew the X's and O's there, you could see someone missing an assignment, somebody changing. And so I think as fans, it's easy for us to jump up and down and yell at the TV and yell at, the kid that's back there in the secondary. And sometimes there's other things going on. We don't know, as a dummy fan, what the assignment was or what they were set up for. Oh God, I just lost his name. Big bearded fellow that used to play for us that was talking on the post game show.
DJ Schramm.
Yeah. So DJ did a good job saying, hey, you got a different defensive scheme here for this game than you do for everything else. So, I want to withhold judgment. I'm not looking to call anybody out, but it just seems like this is what was going on last year. And there are so many things that we can be excited and positive about, even if there's cleanup that needs on this team. But that's the one glaring thing that is still there, that people will just continue to eat our lunch, no matter how good we are everywhere else. You're not going to score 49 points against Notre Dame. So if they're going to light you up and just throw over the top of you, where do you go from there? I don't know. So as a dummy fan, I'm frustrated as hell when I watch that secondary continue to give up those big plays. I don't think anybody likes to see that. So in not calling out one person or another or one coach or another, as a team, how do we fix that? How do we get the guys to be able to cover that and not have that happen? It's just incredibly disappointing to see.
86 in the country right now in pass defense, Brad. 86, which isn't good to begin with, but when you throw it in there that, one of your teams you've played is a triple option team and one's an FCS team, and you're still 86th in passing yards allowed on average per game here, 225 it is so far already. They're at 8.3 yards per attempt. It's just some of the bigger plays too. I mean, it just seems like a couple of times a game. And again, I know it's not always Irby's fault. As you said, there's a lot of times it's other guys, but it just seems like you look up and there's number 6 chasing a guy down the field on a huge passing play. What are you seeing, Brad, from the secondary and the pass defense? How much of a concern is it? And obviously this was what we said, an issue last year, giving up big plays in the passing game, and it's still happening.
Right. And I would go back what you said earlier is understanding where your help is. If I'm a corner, I know that in cover 2, I have help on the deep half. So,
but it's mostly one-on-one against Air Force, right?
They didn't play a bunch of cover 2. They played 3. They played one high because you need to get the extra safety in the box to stop the triple, right? So if you're playing 1 or you're playing 1 high, even if it's cover 3, that corner has the deep third. You can't just let him streak by you. You have to carry him to the deep third. And if that's happening, there's just a lack of communication on the back end, right? And so lack of communication you can fix. Things like that you can fix. But I would agree with you. The guy's streaking down the field wide open. It's like you're handcuffed as a defensive coordinator, right? So if you're sitting there and you want to pressure, but you're thinking, can we cover the pressure? Means if they pick it up, are we going to be able to cover this, right? Or let's just play coverage. We're going to mix in some 4 on first down to stop the run, go some 2, things like that to help our corners. Well, Now you're putting a big onus on your front seven because they have to stop the run. You have no safety help in cover two. So it's like they need to find something, and Shenander will. He'll get it straight. I'm not worried about that. But you need to sit in a room and go, okay, what coverages can we pressure out of? Where do you guys even feel comfortable that I can call some pressures versus these coverages, knowing if we don't get to the quarterback that a play is going to be made? And right now, I think that's kind of the question, in my opinion, is like they got to get into a room and go, okay, what coverage you going to want to run? We want to run 3. Perfect. You can do a lot of pressure out of 3, but your corner is susceptible in 3. So you have to just be aware of that, and that's just got to improve. I don't know what else to tell you.
So, Brad, are you saying that the way Shenander is running the defense, it puts overly due pressure on the corners, or is it that we don't have athletes that can keep up, or is it that the athletes aren't doing what they're assigned to do?
Well, I think they're doing what they're assigned to do. It's just either they got their eyes caught in the backfield in zone, right? And you have to, like Air Force, you have to run a different structure of defense because you can't. If you're running 2, you don't even have enough bodies to stop the triple, to have the dive, the quarterback, and the running back for the option. So you have to play 1 high. You have to rotate safeties to stop it. And so that's where a lot of the big plays. I thought, and I said this last week, I thought usually Air Force's big plays happen on those little pop passes to the tight end right down the seam, right? Because they're blocking for the triple and they slip them and then they dump it over there. What's the kid's name? That's how bad it is. Cade Harris, 8 receptions for 177, and he's not who they're going to face in the future. That's where my thing is they have to come together and they have to figure out these are the coverages that we need to run. Where can we blitz from? Because the other thing is, we had a lot of sacks in the start. Air Force, you're not going to get a lot of sacks. That's okay. But in the future, that front seven, the greatest thing a corner can have is a dynamic pass rush. That's where this thing needs to change come Saturday at 5:30. That quarterback better be running for his life. Because if he's running for his life, corners don't have to cover very long. Right? And so if you're going to dial up some pressures, the corners don't have to cover very long. It's the one time that everything gets picked up and the guy's just streaking down the field. I don't get it. I don't understand it, why it happened, but there's something that has to be changed. And the other thing is I want to, because I saw this a lot too. It's like, well, just replace him. Well, you don't know who is behind him, right? And how much better is that situation? So before you want to just, let's bench everybody. It's not, you don't know what's behind them. And obviously the coaches see it. So it's not, I'm not going to second guess a coach because he's not playing some other guy. They've seen it. They've been with him in spring ball. They've been with him in camp. They've been with him everywhere. And so you just can't, usually benching a kid is not, now you can play different kids through the game. You just can't bench him because who knows how the other kid's going to play. That's a dangerous mix right there.
Andy, obviously, diehard fan. You watch these games very intently. You watch the pre and post game shows. Any other just thoughts from you on this team? 2-1, App State, Notre Dame coming up. Just overall, any other takeaways for you?
Well, I mean, you guys covered a lot today, but there's tons to be excited about this team. And you look at that offensive line. I think as a fan, I can't speak for everybody, but I love being a running team. I love being a team where, you've got that huge offensive line. You got running backs going. What Dylan Riley did was amazing. Obviously, whenever Boise struggles, over the last month, I've had, friends and family texts that maybe don't live in state and say, you guys sure are missing Genty. And it's like, well, yeah, of course you're going to miss Genty, but we're still going to be great at running the football. We're just, like Spencer said, going to be doing it more by committee. So if you clean up some of the penalties that you have going on, the future is very, very bright. And it's, we've always been a running team. That opens up so many options. I do want to see the more of that, deep ball threat. I still feel like we haven't seen a lot out of Chris Marshall. I think that we can all see the potential is there. That's been kind of the story since he got here. It's been really exciting to see Ben Ford do the things that he's doing. A local kid that has worked his tail off, senior. I mean, that's cool stuff. Penry, I think he had a couple in there the other night. So the offense, I'm excited about. I think there's good things going on there. And on the defense, you can see some things to be excited about. I mean, Agent Zero, Ty Benefield. I mean, look at that. That dude is laying the wood to guys out there. Had that pick at the end of the game to really close it off. So that's very exciting. And so that's, I guess, for me, part of the head scratcher when you get into the struggles with the secondary, but you got a safety like that. I mean, he's got to be an NFL caliber safety sitting back there. How does that, to Brad's point, how does that impact? How do you play to your strengths if you know you have some weaknesses there in the secondary? But I think if they can figure out, obviously it's a no brainer. They got to clean up the penalties, but if you can figure out how to stop the secondary, this could be a really strong team. I think they're playing from behind if you're looking at a season hoping for a playoff spot. Right now, it's the Americans to lose. Memphis beating Arkansas the other day. You got some good things happening over there. And I am not convinced that Boise State, I know Boise State can compete with Notre Dame, but that is going to be a big task to ask. I know these teams change constantly, but that was a hell of a game that we had against Penn State. And then I felt like Penn State just got worked by Notre Dame. So I think this is a very difficult scenario that we're going into, but there's no reason Boise State can't still be looking at, a 9-3, 10-2 season, but not if we keep getting burned on that deep ball. So I hope they come up with answers for it.
All right, Andy. Well, before we let you go, final question for you here, man. I got the photo on screen here. You were waving Old Crimson there at College Game Day last week. You got to go to look at that picture, Brad. I mean, he's there in the stripe out at Tennessee for the Tennessee-Georgia game. I mean, just what was that experience like, Andy, going on the road? And I even saw you were. And if you look closely in the Old Crimson there, Brad Bedell, he's wearing his BNN hat, so he is supporting BNN while he is there on this trip. That had to be a pretty cool experience for you, Andy. I'm sure there was a work conference or something work-related on this trip, but had to be pretty cool.
Absolutely not. This was all play. This is me riding some motorcycles through the Tennessee, through the Smoky Mountains with my brothers and some buddies. And we said, hey, let's catch a football game. So my family has some pretty deep Southern roots, which I knew somewhat, but visited the gravesite of my grandfather and my great-great-grandparents there in Tennessee. And so my son's great-grandfather played for the Vols, and so I've got some roots going back. There's been a lot about wearing other schools' colors this weekend, so I don't want to go too deep into that. But that was my little tie into a good old Rocky Top there. And, yeah, I mean, I broke Wazoo, apparently. I touched Old Crimson, and the next thing you know, they get blown out. I don't know what happened
59-10 to North Texas. It's your
terrible.
fault.
I'm never touching. I'm sorry, Wazoo. I won't touch Old Crimson again.
Although Jay Tuss did say, I told that to Jay Tuss, and he goes, actually, without that, it may have been worse. So maybe not.
I had a magic touch. Those guys were great. It was great hooking up with them. We were all decked out in Boise State shirts, and all the Pac-12 guys were rallying together. So it was pretty cool, culturally seeing that conference start to come together. But I got to say this. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm always talking about perspective, because no matter what you're facing in life, you can always get a little perspective. That picture right there, I will tell you that when you go to an SEC game and it is sold out and 110,000 fans are singing Rocky Top, holy cow, it is a different thing. It is a different baby. And that's the thing. I think sometimes maybe out west, we don't fully have the comprehension. Brad, you played everywhere, so but as a fan, this brought me some perspective on just the intensity and just the loudness of a crowd like that. So I got to say, that's got to be one of the premier college games a month in, was that game right there, if not the premier game. How Georgia was able to come in there and perform like they did, props to them, because Tennessee looked like they were going to run away with it in the first quarter. They were strong. They were looking good. And that game was just back and forth. There was like a 4th and 6 where Georgia scored that touchdown, perfectly thrown to the corner of the end zone. So I think that game really gave me some perspective on the world of football, the SEC, how big and powerful it is. As a football fan, it was awesome to be there. I would have loved to have seen Tennessee. So would 110,000 people in that stadium come out with a victory. But, it was still just a phenomenal game. As a college football fan, it doesn't get any better than that. College game day, obviously, is always so much fun, with the crew there. So pretty cool experience I got to have.
Brad, did you guys at Auburn play at Tennessee?
No, I've never been to Tennessee. Pretty cool, though. I'd like to go to Tennessee.
Andy, what do we this is awesome. Are you going to Notre Dame, Andy?
I am. Yep.
Awesome. Well, we'll definitely talk to you after that. We'll try to hook up with you down there maybe the night before on Friday. I know we're going to make this a regular Monday thing here, hopefully to have you pop on for a few minutes. But what do we got going on painting-wise? Rowpaint.com. What should folks know right now if they got a painting project they need to get taken care of?
Well, it was funny. I was hearing you talk, and it just kind of dawned on me. We do it all. We do major projects. We just wrapped up the St. Al's Hospital. That was a nice big project that we enjoyed working on downtown. But actually, the team last week in the marketing meeting was talking about the Painter for a Day program. That's a very simple program. You can just, book that by calling in or going online. And you just get a painter that shows up. All you got to do is have the paint and tell them what you want done. You get 8 hours of painting. So that's kind of easy. I know sometimes it's hard to go out and get a bunch of bids and have a major project, but sometimes you just need something touched up or a bathroom painted. So I don't think we talk about that very much, but I think they're going to try to talk about that more. So we do it all from big to small. And yeah, if you need something small, even if it's little, let us come out and take care of you. And you never know what else you're going to need. So we like to be the favored painter in Boise State fans, BNN fans. So let us know what we can do to help you.
Well, I'm just glad you've recovered, Andy. I mean, how many million blades of grass was it that you painted to paint the whole blue field there, as we saw in the commercial?
There's some Easter eggs in there if you're looking for them. I didn't have all of the numbers, but 2007 man hours, the 2007 Fiesta Bowl, 43 million, the hammer. So we had a couple of things in there. So
okay,
the Dan Paul's number was for the 43 million. But
how about that?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well,
a couple of little things in there, but it was good fun. The marketing team, we did a couple of filming deals with Boise State. My son went to one of them, so you'll see him in a couple of.
I saw that one on Facebook. I think it was. He's going to take over my job as a commentator. It looks like.
Yeah. Well, he's supposed to be a coach in that, so we'll see. He may.
Oh, okay.
Maybe he can coach secondaries. I don't know.
Well, Andy, safe travels back, man. We really appreciate your support of Bronco Nation News, whether it's the Painter for a Day, all the great options. Hopefully, folks will check your website, reach out to you guys, give you a call. You'll come out and give a free estimate and walk everybody through the process. And we've had you guys out numerous times, and it's first-class work every time. So we appreciate it, and we'll talk to you next week, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, BJ. Thanks, Brad.
No problem.
Thanks, Andy. Andy Rowe, rowpaint.com. Brad, a little bit of sad news that I do want to pass along in regards to playing App State this week. Shawn Clark has passed away. The former App State coach, was a player at App State. Also, most recently was down at UCF. I don't know if you knew Shawn Clark, obviously from the O-line community and being an O-line coach, I believe, was 5 full seasons as the head coach. So he took over for Drinkwitz. Is that correct? I believe Drinkwitz went to Missouri, and Shawn Clark took over as the head coach at App State from 2020 to 2024, and then just went down to join the staff at UCF. The App State community obviously is going to be a tough one for them leading into the game this week.
Yeah, that's thoughts for this family. That's a tough deal right there.
Shawn Clark, again, he was 50 years old, and he had left. I think was it about a week ago or maybe 2 weeks ago or 10 days ago? He had they didn't really get into too many details, but said to please pray for him. It's not going well. He had a health incident, and unfortunately he has passed away. So I know it's always cliche to say thoughts and prayers, but certainly thinking about the App State community, Shawn Clark, his family, and now another. Again, he wasn't currently at App State. He was at Central Florida, but was the head coach there for 4 years. Obviously, a lot of the same players, and then a former, decorated player there, I believe, as well. Back in the day at App State. So that'll be wouldn't shock me at all if Boise State had a moment of silence for him, maybe before the game on Saturday. Certainly that'll be something that I would think would be, a big storyline for App State coming into this game.
Yeah. I would say that's fitting. He's done a lot for that university and a lot of the game of football. So yeah, that's a sad deal.
Real quick, Brad, final thing before we get you out of here. Any takeaways from the Mountain West over the weekend? You had,
San Diego State made a splash.
What was that about? I mean, Cal was 3-0 in San Diego State, and all of a sudden, I
don't know.
They shut them out 34-0.
Yeah, I don't know. I said, what's San Diego State going to do? And all of a sudden, they announced their presence with authority. Shut them out.
That was the craziest. I mean, I don't think anybody could have seen that coming. 34-0.
You know what? I don't see. I think I'm going to see what UNLV starts doing. I think they're winning really close games. I don't know if they can keep this up. I'm interested that UNLV. I'm very interested to see what happens here. I mean, that when you see it, they're undefeated on paper, but when you watch them, it's like, oh, how is this team undefeated? Well, you play a horrible UCLA team, but those teams, I don't know if UNLV is doing so much to win it or the other team just screws it up and UNLV just gets lucky. I don't know.
Yeah.
That one's got me.
I mean, they could have lost to Idaho State in the season opener. They had Sam Houston State they won, by 17. But you mentioned UCLA. I mean, one of their closest games has been that UCLA game, and we know how bad UCLA is. And then Miami of Ohio. I mean, they very easily could have lost that game. There was a late field goal, but I mean, they were down. It was not looking good for them at all. They had a big pick six that helped them in that game. But UNLV 4-0. They have a bye week this week, so they're celebrating a bye week. They're 4-0, I believe, and then they will start conference play at Wyoming in 2 weeks on Friday night, the night before the Notre Dame game. They'll start conference play against Wyoming on the road. So, very curious to see what they have. San Jose State comes back to beat Idaho. San Jose State gets a close win over Idaho there. That's the first win of the season for San Jose State. We talked about Nevada last week, Brad. They lose to Western Kentucky, 31-16. Nevada now 1-3 on the season. Utah State, they're looking pretty good. I know they played McNeese, but another really nice win, 48-7. Utah State is 3-1. And then I know you were sad to see it, Colorado State losing 17-16 to UTSA, a couple hours up the road from where Boise State was, playing against Air Force. So that was a interesting game. UTSA beats Colorado State. Colorado State drops to 1-2. And then you did have Wyoming lose 37-20 at Colorado. Wyoming was kind of hanging around for a little bit. They fell behind and then couldn't recover. They did have a late touchdown, but they fall 37-20 at Colorado. Wyoming's 2-2. You mentioned San Diego State. They're 2-1, 34-0 win over Cal. And then Fresno State, they go on the road to Hawaii and pull out a 23-21 comeback win for Fresno State. Fresno State now 4-1 on the season. Their only loss coming in that week 0 game to Kansas. But any other takeaways from the weekend in the Mountain West?
No, I think San Diego State, that's one. Fresno, nobody's talking about them, so they're just sneaking on people. And I'm not sold on UNLV. And Colorado State's ass. I've been telling you that for years.
That's a bad. I mean, I don't remember what the spread was in that game, but I can't imagine losing at home to UTSA. That's not a great look.
No. On the bright side, Appalachian State has played 2 Division I opponents, and they throw the ball over 50 times in each contest.
Don't they have over 300 passing yards on the season per game?
Yeah. Now the guy throws a lot of picks like this. He threw 3 picks. He's thrown a lot of picks, but they're
going to let it fly.
They like to swing.
50 passing attempts in a game twice.
Yeah.
They were probably
31
down.
52 for 3 interceptions last game. Wow. That was the last game.
Jesse says, I wish Circa had a betting line how many passing yards the defense will give up for the year. I think Boise's going to be over 200 or 250 plus on average. Not good, Brad. We'll see. By the way, you do have Utah State going to Vanderbilt this weekend. I'm a little curious in that game. Utah State has looked pretty good at times. Utah State is at Vanderbilt. San Diego State at Northern Illinois. New Mexico is hosting New Mexico State. Air Force hosts Hawaii. Colorado State hosts Washington State. Stanford is hosting San Jose State there. And then you do have the App State at Boise State game as well. So another weekend ahead of us in the Mountain West. Brad, appreciate you. Sorry we went a little over the time limit today, but appreciate you for jumping on. And I know, obviously, home game on the blue. You only get a number of those a year. Boise State's won 2 in a row. I believe this might be family weekend. There's a lot going on this weekend. The game is already sold out. They're wearing those new helmets. So, I mean, I know they're playing from behind, as Andy said, for the playoff and all that, but to be undefeated in conference, 2-game winning streak, should be nice weather on Saturday for a home game. I mean, there's still a lot of reasons to be excited here and looking forward to Saturday.
Everything's in front of you. Now, if they're going to come out and throw the ball that much, they need a lot of false starts so that the Boise State crowd is going to be a big, important part of this game. Charlotte is completely horrible. They're worse than Colorado State. But the quarterback for App State was 33 of 50 for 404 yards.
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go. Hey, Boise State will dominate it. Watch.
The spread, I think, 17.
Yeah, App State's not the team they used to be. They used to just want to just pound you in the run game. They're, different coach, all that stuff. But and we'll talk about it in the pregame and all that.
Yeah.
But the Boise State fan base, this is a big one. Like the opening game is Eastern Washington. They were horrible. This is an important one to have App State. Remember, a lot of these App State fans thought that Boise State was second fiddle to App State when they were beating Michigan and all that stuff. And App State literally thought they were the premier school in the G5.
It's a fun little series. I think it's gonna be a fun game.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just show up and be loud, and Boise will get after them.
Well, we appreciate it, Brad. We'll see you Saturday for the pregame show down at the James. We'll see everybody else tomorrow at 9 a.m. for Bronco Nation News Live. Jay Tustle join me tomorrow. I think we'll be down outside practice. Maybe starting at 10 tomorrow. I'll let you guys know. We're going to go watch practice, I think, at 9, and then sneak out and maybe get on around 10 o'clock tomorrow. And don't forget, you want to come meet Ty Benefield, maybe a future NFL safety, Zion Washington. They will both be live at the James Kitchen and Bar right near the stadium tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. The Riley and Ridge Show presented by Jackson's, 8 o'clock tonight. If you want, or excuse me, tomorrow night, Tuesday night, tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. If you want to meet Zion Washington and Ty Benefield, they will be there. Brad will have some of these trading cards we'll be giving away. So if you want some free trading cards, folks can come down to the James. If you're a paying subscriber, your first beer is always on me as well. So looking forward to having a crew down there at the James, and that should be a beautiful night out on the patio. And we'll do that tomorrow night at 8 o'clock with Zion Washington and Ty Benefield. So have a great rest of your day, everybody. By the way, we got first official day, believe it or not, on September 22nd, Brad. Today's the first official day of basketball practice. So we will get down and interview Leon Rice here in about an hour at 11:15. We'll have the Spencer Danielson press conference at noon. I'm going to try to stream that, folks, but with the basketball interviews right before, that may be a little bit of a challenge. We'll see. If not, we'll get it posted right after the press conference is over. We'll record it and post it. But again, a lot going on today. Spencer Danielson, Nate Potter, Eric Shenander. We'll talk to them. We'll talk to Leon Rice. A lot going on. We'll have you covered. Bronco Nation News online at bronconationnews.com. Have a great day, everybody. We'll talk to you later.